American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. A Senate committee votes in favor of holding former National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases Director Dr. Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress. Chad Pergram reporting from Capitol Hill.
Anytime you have contempt of Congress, it usually bubbles up from the committee level, and then it goes to the floor. And you have to have the entire body, be it the House or Senate, approve contempt of Congress and then make the referral to the Department of Justice. That is not what Rand Paul is doing here. This vote was a party line vote in the committee, 8-7, all Republicans for contempt, all Democrats against. And Rand Paul is going to do this unilaterally and just send this down to the DOJ for possible prosecution. The reason is because if you put it on the floor in the Senate, you need 60 votes to break a filibuster. If you get 60 votes, you only need a simple majority to then have DOJ, take this up. And then it's up to DOJ whether or not they want to move or not.
The CDC expanding the list of states impacted by the ongoing cyclospora outbreak in the U.S. to 15, with more than 10,000 laboratory-confirmed cases since May 1st. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins says the Trump administration is working overtime to contain the outbreak, and says this outbreak should serve as a sign for Americans to start supporting U.S. farmers.
The president has talked, since 2015, manufacturing we've lost, pharmaceuticals we've lost, but we've also lost our food supply. And so buy American, support our American farmers and ranchers. We've already begun to see that, getting that back and starting to, again, have more food.
Far-left Socialist Democrat Abdul El Sayed facing backlash following his Michigan Senate primary win after a video surfaced of the candidate sharing his true feelings on driver's licenses for illegal aliens.
We've also got to make sure that in this state, we are not discriminating by documentation status. Right now, if you're undocumented, you don't get access to a driver's license, so you're stuck. You don't get access to a lot of the basic things the state offers everybody else, and I think that's ridiculous. If we're honest and serious about empowering our immigrant communities, then we've got to put some money behind making sure that folks have the access to be able to train in their profession of choice.
Sayed is now urging all Democrats to unite behind him. And former Obama fundraiser and former Democrat Allison Winton talked about what this means for Democrats.
You have to decide what side you're on. Is this the party of Michigan auto workers, or is this the party of socialism, Mandami, and AOC? And so there is a split down the middle right now. And so they need to decide. And if it's going to be socialism, they're going to lose a lot of people like me. I know I used to be a big Democrat, and then I was forced to become a Republican, happily Republican now.
Meanwhile, college graduates are now more than ever likely to vote for Democrats. Caleb Castile has more.
Ever since the early 2000s, college graduates have been more likely to side with the Democratic Party. According to Campus Reform, today's graduates account for 80% of the Democratic Socialists of America. This trend can be attributed to tuition and student debt ballooning, the value of a college degree declining, and weaker job prospects. It's also no secret that leftist ideologies have taken a hold of college campuses across America. DEI has caused political ideology to be spread to all majors across campus, even those that don't deal with politics like math and science. Gregory Lyakov, the campus reform correspondent behind the article, says that political bias is not the only thing to blame when it comes to why Democrats do so well with the modern-day college graduate.
We have seen that in the 1992 election, college graduates were more likely to become Republican and vote for Republicans than Democrats. So this has not been constant. And to critics that say that this is just because of political bias, I mean, it's not, because we have always seen universities be left-leaning, but students have not always picked up on that.
Lyakov did say that since many universities and professors endorse Democratic candidates, specifically those that align with the anti-American ideas of the DSA, it leads to more college graduates voting for liberal candidates.
The result is that they're voting for socialists. So I think we're already seeing the result of this flawed education system in which progressive bias is taking over.
I'm Caleb Castile.
There's more news available online at afn.net and download the AFN mobile app for your Apple or Android device. I'm Rusty Pugh.
The American Family Association's mission is to inform, equip, and activate individuals to strengthen the moral foundations of our culture. Our goal is to be a leading organization in biblical worldview training for cultural transformation. We stand on the biblical truth that all human beings, including the unborn, are created in the image of God and are endowed by Him with the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Thank you for standing with the American Family Association. Welcome to Today's Issues, offering a Christian response to the issues of the day. Here's your host, Tim Wildmon, President of the American Family Association.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the radio program Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Today's Thursday, August the 6th, 2026. Thanks for listening to American Family Radio, AFR. Joining me in studio is Wesley Wildmon. Good morning, Wesley.
Howdy.
I like that.
Trying to change it up. You know, I'm not usually on a Thursday.
Every time on Trivia Friday, we have a Texan call in.
Okay.
JJ says howdy. Yeah, he just said that's his
subconsciously or purposely.
Well, it's just Texas. He just thinks everybody in Texas talks that way, and I guess they do. I don't know. Howdy is a common Texan expression. Howdy, Fred.
Bonjour, mes amis.
Fred Jackson, who hails from Canada, is throwing a little French back at me there.
Yeah.
Bonjour, what?
Mes amis.
What does that mean?
My friends.
Oh, my. All right. Well, thank you.
Hello, my friends.
Hello, my friends.
Hello.
Yeah.
All right, Chris Woodward. Good morning, Chris.
Buenos dias.
Oh, I was waiting for the.
Oh, he came. What did Chris come with there? Spanish?
Yeah, Buenos is
what
good,
does that
means
mean?
good morning.
Yeah. You might not have been here last week, but I said after I surprised Ed with a hey, he was like, "Oh, you don't want to be here today," and I said I was going to change my hello, kind of like a Dick Van Dyke situation where you don't know if he's going to sidestep the ottoman or just tumble over it. So you'll have to tune in every day to see how I might greet you when I'm blessed to be on this program.
All right, so just to be clear, ladies and gentlemen, we are multicultural right here.
That's what I was going for.
We all may be white dudes, but we can reel off some international language.
And we've seen just the positive effects too of multiculturalism over the last 10 years.
Right here on the set.
Yeah.
Well, I would say, French people are considered white people, right, Fred?
Absolutely, yeah.
Canadian, most Canadian. Now, there are obviously French and Canadians of other colors, but I'm just saying that also included.
Yes.
People of the white color.
Yes.
All right, Fred, Wesley, Tim, and Chris, and we don't care what color you are, folks.
Yeah.
We don't care if you're a green Martian. We just appreciate you listening to American Family Radio, because you know what? And I say this sincerely.
We need as many green Martians as possible.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Okay, yes, sir.
It doesn't matter. The most important thing in your life, in my life, is our relationship to God.
Amen. Amen.
And Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Because actually, when you become a Christian, your bond is more with your spiritual brothers and sisters than it even is with your blood kin.
Yeah, it's true.
Isn't that true, Fred?
Brothers and sisters.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why Christians call each other that, brothers and sisters, and have for ages. Go ahead, Wesley.
And just to add to that, the next important thing is to learn and adapt or adjust our lives to God's written word, which is the Bible.
Amen.
He's given us that as our compass to life, and at any point that we feel like we're getting off or we're unsure, the Bible points us true north.
That's right. Amen. So you're listening to Today's Issues. Again, we appreciate you listening each and every day. And we're going to have a bottom of the hour update on our National Truth for Youth Bible campaign. Is Tim Todd going to be on? Brother Tim Todd, always full of energy and enthusiasm. He's going to join us from the Revival Fires Ministry headquarters. We're doing great. We are doing great in terms of the numbers of Bibles that we're getting out to teenagers across America this week. It's back to school week for a lot of people across the country, and so that's why this Truth for Youth Bible campaign week that we do annually, coincides with back to school for a lot of kids across the country. So that's coming up at the bottom of the hour. Anything, Fred or Wesley, y'all need to say before Chris starts us in on the news here?
I do want to mention the phone number for Truth for Youth. That's okay.
Okay.
Phone number for Truth for the Youth Bible Week that we have here is 800-733-4737. The phone number again is 1-800-733-4737. by calling and giving a gift, you will be able to help us get share as many Bibles with the youth as possible. So
yeah, amen. So we'll give you more information on that at the bottom of the hour. By the way, I said green Martians are welcome. Because I don't know if Martians are all green or not. So we welcome Martians of any color, actually, who want to listen to American Family Radio and identify with our message. You are welcome here.
Amen.
All right?
Absolutely.
Amen.
Yes.
Chris, go ahead. What's the first story today?
Well, it's our top story on American Family News and AFN.net at the moment, and I say that because just earlier this morning, a Senate committee voted to hold Dr. Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress and refer him to the Justice Department for potential prosecution over his refusal to answer questions at a hearing last week focused on his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. As we have discussed several times in this program,
Yeah, we have.
Fauci pleaded the fifth 111 times.
That's very, very disappointing.
Yeah, and so Senators Rand Paul and Ron Johnson, they didn't like that, and they are claiming that the pardon President Joe Biden gave Fauci in early 2025 only covers events leading up to 2025. Therefore, he still could have perjured himself. I have another thing to share here. Senator Ron Johnson is claiming to be in possession of a phone that Fauci has used in recent years as well. All of this is going into
Not
new
a
evidence.
stolen phone.
a government phone.
Just to be clear, this was a government, as I understand it, a government-issued phone that Dr. Anthony Fauci used while he was in the position he was in during COVID. Go ahead.
When we talked about this yesterday, in short, with the information we had at the time, we didn't have that information.
Correct.
So that's new information.
Yeah, that's on top of the diary that we've discussed a lot on this program here. Bottom line, this is not the last time that we're going to hear about or talk about Dr. Fauci in this contempt hearing. And I say that because in this audio you're going to hear from Ron Johnson, we're just getting started. Clip 3.
I am definitely going to vote yes on contempt of Congress. And my investigation has just begun. We've invited Dr. Fauci for a transcribed interview. Okay, he doesn't want to do it in front of the American public. Come in front of our committee. We'll go through detail and detail. You say you have nothing to hide. Good. We'll do it behind closed doors. We'll transcribe it. That's only one of the interviews we'll be conducting. So again, no, last week's hearing just began the accountability.
All right. Go ahead, Wesley.
The one thing I'll add, we've seen things like this in history with government officials where we believe or we feel like we have great information or proof that they've done wrong. And there's many times where ultimately nothing really happens out of it. Whether something happens out of this or not legally, I'm just thankful that somebody's still putting his feet to the fire, making him answer questions and making him go through the trouble of having to show up. And so we can talk about this a year from now as long as he's standing there and having to answer own up,
or be held accountable,
and put him through some trouble to explain himself, even if nothing really comes out of it.
Okay, Fred, I'm going to ask you a question, and I do this with my wife, Allison, from time to time. I just explain this to me like I'm a third grader.
All right.
Okay, so let me add to that. I'm going to play Captain Naive here, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to play Captain Naive, and you give me the answers, because these are going to be questions that most of our listeners go, duh, you don't know that, Tim? Come on. Yes, I do know that, but I need to ask it anyway because I need to have...
Set it up.
Yeah, set it up. So, Dr. Anthony Fauci, who nobody knew his name before COVID, his job was what?
Basically, he set policy in place when COVID broke out. He was the guy in charge, the quarterback that set policy as to how the nation was going to deal with COVID.
Because his organization, his title was what? Do you remember? What was the name of the group? National Infectious...
I got it right here.
I've forgotten what the name of it is.
I will get it for you. We mentioned it yesterday. We had to look it up because it is lengthy, but I will get it.
It was the infectious diseases.
Correct.
In other words, He was.
There you go. National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. That's what he was the
National
director
Institute of Allergy and what?
Allergy. National Institution of Allergy and Infectious Diseases.
No, it wasn't allergy. Did I say allergy?
No, allergy, sir. I said allergy. You said allergy, and then I repeated what you said.
Oh, okay. So it's the National Institute of what?
Allergy and Infectious Diseases.
You know, I toured there.
Did
one
you?
time. Yeah, their building is fascinating.
One of the footsteps of
Yeah,
Anthony
they
Fauci's
had
They had algae everywhere.
They had algae everywhere. They had a Ferris wheel outside. It was really fun. But anyway, the point is that when COVID hit, he was looked to as the top doctor or scientist on this. So, but nobody knew who he was. And then and President Trump didn't even know who he was.
No.
Okay, here's where I want to ask you. What's going on? What's going on here? Here he is now, whatever it is, 5 years post-COVID, and in the eyes of millions of Americans, this guy's a villain. Okay, you can't the things that he won't answer for, or has lied about. Here's where I come in, Captain Naive. I'm going. Why would you do that? What purpose does it serve for you to get entangled in things, Dr. Anthony Fauci, that end you up into your career in disgrace in the eyes of a distinguished career? And now you're ending up taking the Fifth Amendment 111 times by the United States Senate. So, what would be the motivation for Anthony Fauci to get into these problems? That's my question.
Okay, we have to go back 6 years, roughly. The nation became in a panic. COVID-19. We started to hear, especially among elderly nursing homes, people were dying. So people got very scared. And basically, you had a nation in great fear, and they were willing to do anything to stop this, to protect us from this vicious virus that had come into the country. You remember there was talk about it was coming from China. There was admission it was coming from China, and flights were still allowed to come in from China. So there was worry that this was going to be a pandemic, that people, regardless of age, whatever the case.
It was an unstoppable pandemic. Now, Trump did shut down some of the flights from China.
They did. But
the cat was already out of the bag.
Yes. So President Trump, they're looking for an expert. Tell us what we need to do. And so Anthony Fauci became the trusted voice at that time. Well, first of all, he didn't believe in masks, but then he believed in masks. 6 feet departure. Don't go to nursing homes to visit your people. Don't go into hospitals.
Well, shut down the whole economy, right? Just shut down. In the name of slowing the spread.
Yes.
And everybody's trying to figure out, okay.
Flatten the curve.
Yes. And when you have something that's never happened before, and it involves an infectious
We've had
disease.
Let me say this, though. We have had pandemics before. What do you mean we didn't have a COVID?
Yeah, which was a pandemic.
Yeah, but we've had experience.
Yeah, I've had pandemics before, but many years ago.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So my point is, so go ahead.
Yeah.
So Anthony Fauci becomes the guy everybody's looking to. Republicans, Democrats, conservatives. I mean, what I'm saying is, nobody might not have agreed with Anthony Fauci's politics. He's a Democrat, I think. But you're looking to him for expertise, like we would look to any doctor.
Fear drove us to trust this man. All right. But then as this began to unfold, there were some voices who came forward and said, wait a minute, where's the proof that 6 feet is needed of separation? What about the masks? Because, if you just throw a cloth on your face, is that going to stop the virus?
And the shot.
And the shot. And people began to say. Then people began to
talk.
talk.
The shot came several months later.
Yeah.
Sure.
Then people began to talk about, wait a minute, there's some cases over here where ivermectin appears to be working. And then we were told, keep your mouth shut. In fact, we're going to check.
Just stop right there. And I know people may be bored with this topic, but I want to ask you, stop right there. Why would somebody, even somebody like Dr. Fauci or somebody, why would they care if ivermectin was working to treat people with COVID and helping them, why would the medical community in America, the professional medical community in America, and why? I'm trying to get to the bottom of why would they care whether ivermectin, for example, worked?
This is where speculation comes in.
Okay, speculation, but go ahead.
This is where people began to say, wait a minute, what would you have against, just as you just outlined, Tim, against a possible avenue to help people who had this virus? Ivermectin appeared to be working.
On some people, yeah. I know one particular man that saved his life. So,
However, we do know that the federal government had invested billions of dollars with Big Pharma to come up with a solution.
Remember all the ventilators we were on order?
Oh, yeah. So billions of dollars have been invested in a solution, and I'm putting air quotes there, a solution. So because we have so much invested in this solution, we got to stick with this, and we have to denigrate any other possibilities or any questions that this solution that we're coming up with is going to be all end all. It's going to help everybody. So what happened was that initial panic and that initial thought that this is the solution, it began to unravel. And of course, it's continued to unravel over the last several years, which has prompted questions. Let's go back and find out. So in recent months, we find out about the Fauci diary, now the Fauci phone, where he himself was kind of debating or at least admitting, hey, 6 feet, really? Where did you get that? Where'd you get the 6 feet thing? Well, I don't know. There's no science to that. And then we talked about the masks, and there was nothing, and the separation, and don't go visit people. And I mean, my sister had to talk to relatives. She had to sit on a front porch and talk through a window. She wasn't allowed to go into a house. There were stipulations put in place where people were going to be fined if you broke any of these rules. Churches couldn't meet, and you couldn't question the science that was being put out. We were told we couldn't be on YouTube anymore because we mentioned ivermectin. All of those things. So since then, all of these questions have come about. What happened last week was that Anthony Fauci was asked to appear in the wake of the discovery of this diary, was asked to appear at this hearing. It's the Homeland Security Committee Senate hearing with Senator Rand Paul. We want you to come in because we have questions now that we believe you can answer. And the questions were really about what you were saying at the time, Dr. Fauci, and what we're now seeing on your personal diary. That was on a government platform.
Which contradicted it.
Yes. But throw this into the mix of this. Before Joe Biden left office, he gave Anthony Fauci carte blanche pardon.
Pre-pardon.
Pre-pardon.
Because it wasn't pardoned for something he already been indicted for.
Yeah. So it was from 2012 to 2025. All right. The day that Biden issued this pre-pardon, anything that Fauci might have done, he couldn't be charged.
Again, that begs the question: why would you do something like that? If you're Joe Biden, for example, why would you try to protect a man you don't even know what he has or hasn't done, and you're giving him a get out of jail card for 10 years? I mean, that just seems that screams that he's guilty of sin of something that Biden and the Democrats and maybe even some Republicans don't want discovered.
Yes.
I think I may have an answer. And again,
bring forth your answer,
Chris.
Chris.
Just speculation. Much like pride and money is the reason why they didn't get behind ivermectin as a cheap and easy solution for at least some people, many people. Biden wanted to pardon him because anything Fauci did wrong makes Biden look bad, and presidents are always worried about their, quote, legacy.
Well, it ain't helping him now.
Nope.
Right now, talking about Dr. Anthony Fauci. So Anthony Fauci last week goes before the Senate committee, we know, and pleaded the Fifth Amendment. That's the amendment against self-incrimination.
Over the color of the carpet.
Yeah.
Included.
Yeah, that's right. 111 times?
111 times.
You just go, why do you even show up?
Yeah.
Why do you even come to the hearing if you're going to throw out, and you got lawyers behind you and everything like that? As I said yesterday.
Well, he was subpoenaed. He didn't have a choice.
He didn't have a choice. Okay, he was. Yeah. Congress has subpoena authority.
Yes.
Okay. So he had to go, and he should have gone because he was, he had a lot of questions that he was supposed to answer. I've said before, and I don't know the legal technicalities of this, but I've said before, I don't believe a government official should be able, I don't care if it's state, local, or national, should be able to plead the Fifth Amendment at a hearing. Fifth Amendment to me is reserved for a criminal court case where you're charged with a crime that you don't want to incriminate yourself with. This is not, he may have committed crimes, I don't know, but this is a hearing where you're asked questions. Why did you do this? Why did you say this?
Well, what do you know about this?
And what do you know about this? And all you do is answer it. And if you say, I don't know, I don't remember, I don't recall, which is used oftentimes, then you say that. But when you plead the Fifth Amendment, you're saying the doubt then becomes whether you're even telling the truth at all about anything.
Yeah. And the issue right now before this committee is that because you got this pre-pardon, the Fifth Amendment doesn't apply to you because anything you say that went on in that period
cannot be used against you anyway.
Cannot be used against you anyway.
That is a very good point.
Yeah, so that's the argument that Senator Rand Paul is using. And what they voted on this morning was to send this issue of contempt. That's what they voted on this morning. Anthony Fauci, you're guilty of contempt, to send it directly to the Justice Department versus sending the finding of the committee to the whole Senate.
Yeah.
Now, this morning, the Democrat senators on this committee said, well, you're trying to rush things. And Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin came back and said, what are you talking about? We've been trying to investigate this for 6 years.
Yeah.
How can you accuse us of trying to rush things through? We just want to ask questions.
Let's see, Fred, let me throw another thing in here. And again, this is pure speculation. I have no evidence to support this. There's another couple things going on here. You know the old expression, follow the money?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I was going next.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we'll go. This is how, the world spins around on its axis. And then the second most truism in life is follow the money.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So what were you going to say? And this involves Dr. Anthony Fauci and the medical establishment that I have doubts about. Go ahead.
So Dr. Fauci served in the American public health sector for more than 50 years and had been an advisor to every U.S. president since Ronald Reagan. And you mean to tell me, like I'm a man on the street here. You mean to tell me that he didn't know between week 1 where you don't need a mask, and then week 3 you need to be wearing a mask? You mean somebody who served in science
can change on something so fundamental?
Mask,
within 3 weeks?
50 years of studying what a mask can do to diseases.
Right.
Yes, no.
Right.
So follow the money. Okay. You don't need a mask. Why would you take the time to do that? It's unnecessary. And then we sell masks like crazy, and then we push people away that don't have masks on the division of the mask. I mean, the sales of the mask and the division of the mask, and then they can control what you do and don't do if you don't have a mask on.
And this divided families and businesses, and our poor military personnel who didn't want to take the vaccine were fired.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Did they ever get back pay, by the way? Do you know?
In some cases.
In some cases they did.
There have been court cases in the last year.
Whether he gets convicted or not, I'd keep dragging him out there, making him answer questions again.
Okay. We'll do it.
Let's do it.
All right, we'll be back momentarily. Stay with us.
Hello, I'm Ed Vitagliano. Did you know that this show is listener supported? Without people like you, this show would not exist. That's why we need you. A generous monthly gift of any amount will help sustain American Family Radio, specifically this show, as we reach thousands of people each week with biblical truth. Please consider becoming a monthly financial partner today by visiting afr.net/give. That's afr.net/give.
It's my turn.
Here is your host for My Turn, Don Wildmon.
Let me tell you something you already know. Every one of us has problems. Now, we do not all have the same problems, but we do all have problems. No one goes sailing through life without hitting a high wave occasionally. Too often in our problems, we think other people turn their backs on us, and sometimes they do. But many times it isn't that others turn their backs on us. It is simply that we have a defensive attitude, which causes us to expect others to reject us. In other words, we look for rejection on their part. We need to remember when we're in the midst of a problem that not near as many people know about it as we may think. Human capability is such that we don't know everything about every person at all times, and that is good. It doesn't help to face our problems by being touchy about them either. I learned early in life that if you carried a chip on your shoulder, someone would try to knock it off. So I try to carry my chip in my back pocket, hidden from the view of those who get their kicks from knocking other people. I will share my problems with my close friends whom I know will try to help and understand, but I see no need to broadcast them to everyone I meet. Don't become defensive if you happen to have problems that other people are aware of. Your defensiveness will often cause you to look for faults. Once I was visiting in a home where there were some problems. Several people in the town knew of those problems. A young boy in that home had run afoul of the law, and it had brought embarrassment to the family. As I was visiting, one of the parents remarked that they were in a certain place and a person whom they knew happened to be there. The parent of the young boy said that the other person didn't bother to speak. The parent thought, quite naturally, that the other person didn't speak because of the trouble the boy had had with the law, and obviously felt hurt because of it. I then explained to the parent that the person who didn't speak probably didn't recognize the parent. That other person was probably concerned with the problems she had, which the parent wasn't aware of, but I knew of them. And the other person's problems were far more severe and serious. Yet very few people were even aware that that person who didn't speak even had any problem at all. Don't follow your urge to become defensive when problems come your way. Don't wear your chip on your shoulder. Very few people will turn their backs on you because you have problems. And just remember that you aren't the only person in the world who has problems. We all do. Quite often another person might have problems which you know nothing about, problems far more serious than yours. So when you have problems which others are aware of, don't become defensive. Just treat people as you would want them to treat you.
This has been My Turn with Don Wildmon, a production of the American Family Association.
Hello, Tim Wildmon here, President of American Family Association and American Family Radio. Hey, maybe you've heard some of my other announcements about our tours in March 2027. We are going to Greece and we're going to Italy. 2 separate tours, but you can do both if you want to. The first tour is called The Footsteps of Paul, which will be going to many of the places covered in the book of Acts that happened in Greece. The other tour is Italy, and one of the places we're going to be going is Venice, and we're going to ride the gondola that Paul took on his trip to Venice. You can read about that in the Bible too. I'm just kidding, but you can call it a gondola or gondola, I don't care. But if you want to go on one of our tours in 2027, go to tours.afa.net. That's tours.afa.net.
Come, let us sing to the Lord. Let us shout joyfully to the rock of our salvation. Let us come to him with thanksgiving. Let us sing psalms of praise to him. For the Lord is a great God, a great King above all gods. Psalm 95, 1-3.
This is Today's Issues. Email your comments to comments@afr.net. Past broadcasts of Today's Issues are available for listening and viewing in the archive at afr.net. Now, back to more of Today's Issues.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Today's Issues on American Family Radio. Tim, Wesley, Fred, and Chris. Before we get an update on National Truth for Youth Bible Week here on American Family Radio, which we have some exciting news to share, Tim Todd. Just to wrap this up, because as you can tell, ladies and gentlemen, when we start talking about Dr. Anthony Fauci and what we went through with COVID and his response at the Senate hearing where he pleaded the Fifth Amendment 111 times, even though he's a government employee, using a government computer and a government phone and making decisions for the world in the name of the federal government, he says, I can't answer for it. Which I would say that's unacceptable. You're going to sit in that chair. You're not even going to the bathroom until you answer this question. And if you want to say, I don't know, I don't remember, I don't recall, go ahead and say that, although we don't believe you. But go ahead and say that. But don't plead the Fifth Amendment to say I refuse to answer questions on a legal basis, because what kind of transparency in government is that?
Yeah.
When you're gonna go that direction. All right, just to wrap this up, hopefully I don't get rewound.
I'm not saying a word.
Okay, just stay out of my way.
On the advice
okay?
of counsel, I will let you take over.
Okay, there are two things that might have motivated Dr. Anthony Fauci to be less than forthcoming and to have questionable edicts and actions during COVID. I can't prove this. I'm just speculating. As I said, follow the money.
Yep.
Number one, Dr. Anthony Fauci had connections with the Wuhan viral, I don't know what the proper name was. It's the Chinese lab where COVID came from, okay?
Yep.
He had connections with them.
Yes.
Right, Fred?
Yes.
He'd given them, he had authorized money being sent there.
Yes, for gain-of-function investigation.
What does that mean briefly?
Gain-of-function is basically a virus that getting it enhanced.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
That's a simple definition.
So the COVID virus escaped from a lab in COVID-19 virus, escaped from a lab in China, and Anthony Fauci was connected to it in some way, and he didn't want any connection to it because it made him look bad. Again, I'm speculating, but why would somebody act the way he does if these things were not accurate, in my opinion? Then he started blaming the bats, who happened to just live right down the road from the Wuhan lab. He said this came from bats. This is a natural virus, not a created lab virus. Remember that?
Yep.
Okay, so that's one reason why he may have obfuscated or, not wanted to be forthcoming. The second thing is, and this is post March. Remember, we all went through March, then everything shut down in April and May, and okay, go beyond that real quick. We get the vaccine that was, and I didn't have a problem. Who had a problem with trying to come up with a vaccine?
I didn't.
Nobody has a problem with trying to come up with a vaccine. We were all hoping that it could. But then it became clear that the government waived for the companies making the vaccine. They were rushed to market. They weren't properly tested. And Anthony Fauci was pushing the vaccines like crazy. We only learned that it wasn't a vaccine.
Yep.
Because everybody take this vaccine that's not a vaccine. Because it didn't stop you from getting it, and it didn't stop you from spreading it.
Yes.
So
and you needed boosters.
Yeah, and you needed boosters, and you don't even know what the long-term effects of this are.
That's right.
You can't. You don't know the long-term effects of this if you haven't lived through the long term.
That's right.
And so I think Anthony Fauci. You mean why was he villainized? Well, he brought it on himself. when you push the vaccine and use the force of firing people and costing their livelihoods, telling the military, you don't take this thing, get out of here, that's what people were angry about.
Yes, that's it.
Yes.
Not, hey, we recommend this. We think it's good. We don't think that there's any long-term effects. Take it if you want to. It might help you. Who would have a problem with that?
That's right.
Nobody would have a problem with that. But when you force it on people, and he was the number one guy, then that's, and there's a lot of money tied up in that, in the vaccine business, you know, then, if you remember. And I don't blame Johnson & Johnson. Who are the big ones? Johnson & Johnson and
Pfizer.
And I don't blame those companies for getting a waiver from the federal government where they can't be held accountable legally for any negative effects of the vaccine. But if you're going to say that's okay to let them off the hook, you have to say why. Why would you give them a free pass on any legal action being brought against those companies? Precisely because you don't know, and they don't know.
That's right.
Exactly what the long-term effects, or even the short terms in the case of people who, the young men who are having myocarditis.
Yes.
In fact, the vaccines were banned this didn't get much news. During COVID, the vaccines were being pushed. The vaccines were banned in Europe by 4, 5, or 6 companies for young men because it was causing them, there was a connection, they feared, between that and the myocarditis.
Yes.
So I'm just saying the vaccines may have been fine for a lot of people, and if you wanted to take them, that's fine. They were recommended by almost everybody in the medical community. You remember that? But it was the forcing of it on people and shaming people that people now are being they're being like okay, they were right. Yeah. People who were questioning the vaccine and being forced on you were right. So there was a lot of money tied up in that COVID vaccine response. And for Anthony Fauci, if he were to come out and said what I said, take it if you want to, but we can't guarantee you won't get it or won't. Remember that? Then he would have been crucified by the people who made the vaccines and his other colleagues. So there you go. We're going to move on from that topic. Joining us now is Tim Todd from West Monroe, Louisiana, who is the president of Revival Fires Ministry. Tim travels the country and holds evangelistic meetings and has his whole for 25 plus years. And his ministry and our ministry work on getting as many Bibles in the hands of teenagers across America this week as we possibly can. Brother Tim, good morning to you.
Good morning, Tim. I'm not going to plead the fifth. I'm going to proclaim some great numbers for you.
Okay, I was hoping if you plead the Fifth Amendment, I just give up. I'm going home. All right. Okay, so tell us, our Truth for Youth Bible Campaign Week, we've been doing this for 25 plus years, and our goal this year is 65,000 Bibles. Where are we?
Yes, right now we are in the process of processing 33,800, and we have 31,200 to go to reach our goal. And so we're excited about that.
So we're halfway there. We're halfway there.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
That was as of last night.
Okay.
And so we've got today and tomorrow, and if we need to go into overtime over the weekend, which we plan to do, then we will do so. But just a tremendous partnership, tremendous response. I believe we're going to have a record-breaking year this year of young people that are going to receive a Truth for Youth Bible as a result of listening, their parents and grandparents listening to American Family Radio.
Amen. Well, tell folks again, maybe who don't know, who's eligible, how they can get a copy or copies of the Bible, and also talk about the boxes, because our cases.
Yes.
You have boxes, cases of these Truth for Youth Bibles that say a youth pastor or church might want to order. Go ahead.
Yes, Tim. In fact, of course, for those that don't know, it is a very unique New Testament, the entire New Testament with the God's Word translation, with 100 pages of comic stories in the front that deal with the truth about issues of moral concern that young people are up against every day. And one Bible per teenager, per household, ages 13 to 18 years old, that will commit to give the Bible away to somebody in school that doesn't know Jesus. A parent or grandparent can call in on behalf of their children and grandchildren, and we'll give one Bible per teenager, per household, to every one of them for absolutely free of charge. And if people want to get copies in addition to this, they can get them at my cost, which is $2 each, if they get a case of 50 or more of the Bibles. And we encourage Bible clubs and youth groups and churches to do so to help us get God's Word into the hands of young people.
$2 a Bible? A copy?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, $2.
Yeah. That's very inexpensive in today's world. Mm-hmm. And so if you want to order, you said they come in cases of what?
50 Bibles per case.
Okay, so if you want to order one case, you're talking about $100 plus shipping.
That's it.
Gotcha.
That's it.
And you can process that request?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes, we can. We got people manning the phones, and we want to get those phone lines burning.
What's the phone number? What's the phone number? Burn them up, brother. Burn them up.
Yes, sir. 800-733-4737. 800-733-4737. Or, Tim, they can go to tfy.org, Truth for Youth, tfy.org.
One thing I do need to know, Tim, and I think our listeners need to know from you, the people answering the phone there at your offices, they are 6 feet apart, right?
Yes, they are, absolutely are. And in fact, we've got them where that they can't hear each other. Okay. And so that everything is very, very confidential. The information that is processed, and of course, we're thankful for a wonderful team that we have that are volunteering to help us answer the phones.
All right, brother. You take care. You know you're. You didn't get my 6 feet. Stop the spread virus joke. Or did you even? Yeah. Oh, now you get it. Okay.
Absolutely. Now I get it. A little bit slow. But my mind.
Well, you are.
I got a.
You know, we in Mississippi, we understand people in Louisiana can be a little slow. And, we don't look down on our Southern brethren. We don't. We're not uppity like Arkansas people. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
Okay. All right. Talk to you later, Tim.
Okay, my friend. Appreciate you very much. Bye-bye.
I didn't know whether to.
You did the right thing.
Did I do the right thing?
Yeah, I think you did right.
I felt like if Tim leaves a phone conversation and I don't tell him he didn't get my. Yeah. And then somebody walked on in the hall and said, "You didn't even know what he was talking about."
Did you?
Did you? Then that would have been, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you did the right thing.
Okay. You're listening to today's issues on American Family Radio. Tim, Wesley, Fred, and Chris. Chris, bring forth unto us another story.
All right. If you are an organ donor or your loved one.
An organ donor.
Organ.
We're going to give Oregon away?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
For cash and state to be named. But anyway.
State to be named later?
Yeah.
All right, in case of Canada, we're going to trade Oregon for a province.
Right.
That's right.
51st state. Okay, so if you're an organ donor or your loved one is an organ donor, you want to listen to this story. I have this airing already. It's aired a couple of times on radio, and we have something on AFN.net. Yesterday, the Department of Health and Human Services announced the federal government was cutting ties with an organization known as Network for Hope, the federally designated organ procurement organization serving Kentucky and parts of Indiana, Ohio, and West Virginia. The reason being, according to HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Network for Hope was involved in organ procurements from people that were still alive or conscious during surgeries or removal procedures where they thought somebody was dead.
That can be very painful.
It can. And during his announcement yesterday, Secretary Kennedy went through one example of somebody that was alive and awake and conscious during an organ removal procedure. Clip 5.
One of those cases involved T.J. Hoover. DJ showed signs of awareness while on the operating table, about to have his organs removed. Physicians refused to proceed with the organ recovery because they believed that he was still alive.
Now, what's more troubling about this is Fox had this live press conference, and Fred and I are watching it, and they then cut away from the press conference to bring in reaction.
Cut away. Can you come up with a different
transition?
Okay, thanks.
They transitioned to a reaction segment featuring Dr. Mark Siegel, a Fox News medical contributor. And Martha McCallum was the host of the program airing all this, and she says, you know, how big of a problem is this? And Mark Siegel says, this type of thing is a, quote, widespread problem. Clip 6.
It is a widespread problem because there's not a consensus on what death is. This organization is using something called circulatory death, where your heart stops if you withdraw the care. And your lungs aren't working, but your brain may still be working. And in T.J. Hoover's case, which the secretary is talking about, in 2021, he actually woke up, and he had his knees up to his chest reportedly, and he said no, and it took them a while to withdraw care. I want to emphasize something. You could be on propofol or a sedative and look like you're dead and not be. That's a really important part of this, and that's part of what led to all of these citations. I would applaud this motion today. It's very important.
What's the name of this company that's been?
Network for Hope, and it serves Kentucky and parts of Indiana, Ohio, and West Virginia, where we have many listeners.
And we should mention they are challenging what RFK had to say yesterday.
Yes. The company is.
The company is.
Okay, so they're saying we're not guilty of what he's accusing us of.
Correct.
Okay. All right, the company aside here, I went to get my driver's license renewed a couple months ago. And they asked me, did I want to be an organ donor?
Mm-hmm.
And I said to them, quote, yes, as long as I'm dead, end of quote. And I'm in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's nothing worse I can think of is waking up on a operating table and they thinking you're gone and somebody wants your liver.
Yeah. Well, and in this case, that was RFK mentioned yesterday.
That hurts.
It does hurt.
Go ahead.
What RFK mentioned yesterday, thank God for the medical team. Because you can imagine in these situations, these medical teams...
You mean for this fella who survived?
Yes.
Okay.
They're the ones that said, wait a minute, we can't do this.
Right.
Thank God for them, because these medical teams are under a lot of pressure to do this quickly, to transfer to the person who needs the kidney, the liver, whatever the case may be. So thank God for them that they said, we got to stop this right now.
Right.
What got me yesterday, and Chris has just alluded to this, was Dr. Mark Siegel saying this is more widespread than what you think.
That was shocking.
Yeah.
To hear him, because I like him, Dr. Mark Siegel. He's a very credible source.
Solid.
You said this in the news article that this happens. This is hard to believe, and I read it twice. Between 20 and 30.
It's not funny.
It's not funny.
Because you're almost going to laugh.
No,
and you're going to make me laugh, and it's not. It sounds funny, but that ain't funny.
That's right.
Okay.
Between 20 and 30% of the time, at this particular organization.
You're not going to tell me what I think you're going to tell me. Who said this? 20% and 30% of the time. What?
The government.
The people are alive.
Yes.
Yeah.
With this organization.
Yeah, according to the press release.
Real quick, I'm emphasizing this is not like, can you believe this happened? Oh, it's only happened one every 10 years. It's not very often.
Oh, I know. That's shocking. So go ahead.
Yeah, so I shared this on our Today's Issues Facebook page. According to the Department of Health and Human Services, 103 cases, or 30%, showed concerning features, including 73 patients with neurological signs incompatible with organ donation.
Okay.
In other words, they weren't dead yet.
I guess they're going to say they're brain dead. Whoever would be, they're brain dead, therefore they're gone, even though their body still may be pumping blood or something like that.
Could be.
I don't know. Just so we don't get a call from lawyers from some company or whatever, we're not saying guilt or innocence. We're only reporting a news story that came from where? Fox News?
Yeah. Well,
Fox News.
They carried the press conference.
It was RFK.
It's RFK. So he cited this particular company by name?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Are they bringing charges against him?
Yeah, the news conference was in Lexington, Kentucky.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, listen, I'm in favor. I know everybody has their opinion on organ donation, but I'm in favor of it because you're gone anyway, and why don't you let your organs be used to help another family who's in desperate need of a kidney or a liver or eyes or whatever the case, whatever they can, this is like a terrible term, harvest from you that would help,
medical term.
That would help make the quality of life, or in some cases save the life of another person who desperately needs it. I know people right now they're waiting on a kidney transplant, and if they don't get it in the next couple of years, they're probably not going to make it.
I have a friend who's on his second transplant right now.
Okay, for a kidney?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a, I believe in organ donation,
But you obviously want to make sure that the person.
Yeah, but I want to be. I don't mean to sound morbid. I do want the death certificate to be given. I do want to be dead. What I'm saying, for sure.
For sure.
For sure and absolutely. I don't mean to talk morbid stuff, but I'm just saying that that don't need to be cutting on people. But
I don't have a problem at all with donating my
are you an organ donor, or is that a personal question?
Yeah,
you are?
Yeah,
okay.
I have been for pretty much as long as I've had a driver's license. When I officially die,
Right.
I'm going to be with the Lord. So I
Right.
don't need my heart, my eyes, my kidneys, whatever. Right. But I do, like you, want to be fully dead.
Yes,
before
fully
you take
dead.
them from me. Yes.
Now, some religious groups have objections to
sure.
Organ donations. I was reading Muslims do. I didn't know this, but I was reading yesterday. Maybe that's not true for all Muslims. I don't know, but they don't believe in tampering with the body, even post-death.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Ed Vitagliano, our colleague, says, quote, "Nobody wants my organs," end quote. I think that's what. So we'll see. I'll ask him tomorrow. I don't know about asking personal questions on national radio, but
Ed wouldn't mind.
Ed wouldn't care.
Nah.
No. All right, Chris, we got about 2 minutes left here.
Yes. All right, so amid all the talk from Democratic Socialists and just Democrats that President Trump is doing a terrible job on the economy and affordability is the issue going into the midterm elections, President Trump says his economy and his economic plan is working and helping people in this economy. Here he is in Nevada yesterday, clip 7.
Here in Nevada, we've created over 40,000 new jobs and lifted nearly 100,000 Nevadans off of food stamps. Last month, inflation dropped at the fastest rate it's dropped in many years, and more Americans are working today. So the biggest thing for this whole thing, more Americans are working in the United States right now than at any point in the history of our country.
The one thing that hurts him with these statements, which are true, is the price of gas. I mean, people are having to work to pay for gas. I mean, pretty much. That's the issue right now,
Yeah.
and Democrats are hammering.
What was he in Nevada for? Was there a campaign out there or something?
He did Los Angeles earlier this week, and he was in Nevada last night. And not surprisingly, he was in Nevada. He really stressed what a wonderful thing he did when he didn't make tips taxable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trump accounts. He pushed
Okay,
that.
well, I know that he's going to be President Trump is going to be making appearances around the country in support of candidates that he's supporting.
Yes.
So I didn't know if that was the case there in Nevada or not. May have been. All right, you're listening to today's issues. We're going to take a short time out right here. Tim, Wesley, Fred, and Chris. We'll say so long to Chris. You going back to your office?
Mm-hmm. Buenos tardes.
Okay.
For our East Coast listeners, because it's afternoon where they are.
Okay. Thank you, Chris.
See.
Steve Paisley Jordahl will be with us momentarily. We'll be back.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
Faith, family, freedom. American Family Radio.
To the corruptions of Christianity, I am indeed opposed, but not to the genuine precepts of Jesus himself. I am a Christian, that I embrace the teachings of Jesus Christ.
What did Thomas Jefferson really believe about Christianity? Hear more from Stephen McDowell on America's Providential History at afr.net/podcasts.
This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. Senate Republicans moved to hold Dr. Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress in their pursuit of forcing the former architect of the nation's COVID-19 response to go on record about his actions leading up to and during the pandemic. The Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee voted on sharp party lines to charge Fauci with contempt after he refused to answer questions from both sides of the aisle over fear of self-incrimination. The move follows Fauci's decision to invoke his Fifth Amendment rights more than 100 times during his hearing last week, which prompted the panel's chair, Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky, to vow that he would face repercussions for not testifying.
We are voting on whether a witness who has received the benefit of a sweeping federal pardon can be ordered by this committee to answer questions and then defy that order without consequence. More than 1 million Americans died from COVID. Many of them died alone. Workers were forced to choose between a mandate and a job they needed. Businesses closed and never reopened. Children lost years of school they will never get back. Americans lost the freedom to work, to worship, and to decide what went into their own bodies. Nothing we do today can undo those losses, but silence does not honor them either.
The Senate is set to begin its summer recess at the end of the week, but several lawmakers are calling for a vote on a package of voting restrictions known as the Save America Act before that happens. Senate Majority Leader John Thune says he's skeptical another vote will do anything.
We will try and set up a way to get more votes on that, to put them on the record again, but the fact of the matter is you have block opposition from Democrats in the United States Senate when it comes to this issue.
President Trump once again claims the U.S. and Iran could be close to a peace deal as Iran denies it. Jackie Heinrich reporting from the White House.
The president said earlier this week we could see a deal as soon as today, but it's looking less likely after Iran said there are actually no negotiations underway that would reopen the strait, but they're talking to Oman about a plan that would retain their control of it. President Trump reiterated yesterday the Iranians always lie about the substance of negotiations, but this morning he also sent a signal that the U.S. is ready to resume war if necessary, denying reports about military stockpile concerns. Posting to Truth Social, the U.S. has massive amounts of munitions, especially of certain types. Additionally, though large amounts are being manufactured and shipped to the U.S. as needed, defense companies are building the largest number of plants and factories in our country's history.
Moms and other people concerned about the state of education will soon gather in Texas. Chris Woodward tells us why.
The Moms for Liberty Joyful Warriors National Summit is scheduled for October 8th through 11th in Dallas. Tina Deskovich, co-founder of Moms for Liberty, is looking forward to another big turnout.
We'll start announcing speakers probably in the next week or so. We've got great strategy and breakout sessions where parents and grandparents and citizens alike can be trained on things that are going on in public education, how to run for school board, and we'll have some top-notch speakers on the general sessions.
While homeschooling is on the rise in the U.S., and more families are taking advantage of state education savings programs to pursue private and religious school alternatives, most students in America are in K-12 public schools.
80% of students in America still attend public schools. And yes, pull your children out and homeschool or private school, find what works best for them. But if we ignore what's happening in public schools, when our children turn 18 and they go out to vote and they go out to find a partner and get married and they go out and have bosses or employees, they will likely be the kids that went through public school. And so if they've been trained to hate America or they have failed to even learn how to read, the future of America is at risk.
Previous sites for the summit include Tampa, Philadelphia, Orlando, and the District of Columbia. I'm Chris Woodward.
Stocks swayed in morning trading on Wall Street today as a wide variety of companies reported their latest financial results. The S&P 500 rose 0.1% and is hovering near the record it set on Tuesday, and the Dow fell 180 points. The Nasdaq Composite rose 0.4%. More news online at afn.net and download the AFN mobile app. I'm Rusty Pugh.
AFA Action takes attacks on the family seriously. The enemies of the family constantly employ new tactics to try to sneak past our radar. They know if we stand together, their evil plans will fail. Your gift to AFA Action allows us to stay vigilant against their onslaught. And if you give this month, you'll receive access to the Cultural Institute video When Your Faith is Illegal by Frank Harbor on AFA Stream as our thanks. You can make your gift today at afaaction.net.
Today's Issues continues on AFR with your host, Tim Wildmon, President of the American Family Association.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to Today's Issues on American Family Radio on this Thursday, August the 6th, 2026. Again, thank you for listening to AFR. Tim, Wesley, and Fred. We're in studio, and Steve Paisley Jordahl joins us in studio as well. Good morning, brother.
Hey,
Steve.
everybody.
So you got a book in front of you there. Were you reading?
I haven't started it yet, but I wanted to talk about it.
Go.
I will be doing a story on this. Jerry Jenkins, the man who teamed up with Tim LaHaye to write the Left Behind series,
I remember it well,
is now teaming up with Mark Yarborough, who is with one of the seminaries.
President of Dallas Theological Seminary.
DTS,
Yep.
President of Dallas Seminary. And they have written a new novel. This is a novel like the Left Behind series, which is biblically based fiction about the battle in heaven when Satan rebelled against God and fell to earth.
Interesting. Will they have a movie on it? I'm not being funny. I'm being serious.
No, I mean, they're just writing the book.
Okay.
It's going to be released in November.
The novel?
The novel will be released in November. It's called The Battle for Heaven and Earth, and you can hear about it.
We got a lot. So it's a fiction, not a nonfiction.
It is a fiction book, like
based on a biblical story.
Exactly like Left Behind.
I would imagine they would use as much biblical evidence as they have, even though it's very little.
Just like Left Behind, yes.
Right, yeah.
They base it off of what the Bible says about Satan rebelling and being cast out of heaven and falling.
What do they say? Or you don't know yet because you haven't read it.
I'm going to open it up.
This is an advanced reading copy.
That's right. It hasn't been published yet. You're the only person to hold that book in your hand.
That's risky. I would. Of course, first of all, I can't write fiction. I've tried, but I have enough crazy stuff in reality that I don't need to make up stuff. But this isn't crazy. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, here's what's to try to take a biblical story.
Yep.
And wrap it around fiction. Now, I know they did a great job with Left Behind, but this is not Left Behind. This is not futuristic. This is going back in time.
Yep.
Before there was time.
But yeah,
talk about Satan's how Satan became.
How Satan rebelled against God and fell to earth. Yes.
That was your reaction was my reaction in my mind. Of course, you beat me to
well,
it,
we're kin, so that happens from time
I
to
share
time.
your same reaction though.
So will you tell us what they say? That's a very interesting.
I'm going to talk to Jerry Jenkins. I'm going to talk to Mark Yarborough on Monday, and I can report back. But I'm going to be writing a story for this. The story's probably going to be released. I'll do something rather soon, but we'll aim for more the November time when it's going to be released. But yeah, so I'm excited about it. I look forward to reading it.
I got a bunch of questions about that, but there's no point in asking it if you haven't even read the book yet.
We'll talk about it on Monday if you want.
Okay. All right, go.
All right. I got a serious story out of Kentucky that's, I think you brought this to us, Tim.
I saw it on the news yesterday.
Yeah. There's a gentleman, a guy named Ronald Extantis, who was released from Kentucky's Department of Corrections on July 29th. He had broken into a house and fatally stabbed a 6-year-old named Logan Tipton. He attacked Logan's father and his 2 sisters, stabbed them, but they all survived. Logan was put to trial, and the verdict came back not guilty by reason of insanity on the murder charges. He was found guilty but mentally ill on assault charges involving the surviving family members, the dad and the two sisters. It turns out that he has now, this was...
he committed the crimes in the year 2015, I believe.
Yes.
That's right.
Or at least was sentenced then.
2015. So
I want people to hear what
been,
you just said. This is a man who broke into some family's home.
Burglary.
Do what?
Burglary. He broke into...
He burglarized and then assaulted this family. They had 3 members.
Yep.
The 2 adults, I think a teenager and an adult.
They were attacked.
One of the parents,
stabbed.
Father and 2 sisters were stabbed. Yeah.
A 6-year-old is in his bed.
Yeah.
Asleep
and was stabbed to death by this man.
Correct.
So he was caught, charged, sentenced in 2015 or 16 in the state of Kentucky.
15.
He committed the crime in 15.
Yeah. Committed and was sentenced in 16. And what happened?
Well, it's a 10-year sentence, and they have had to release him without any kind of parole. He has served his sentence, his time, because of the mental illness conviction, because he couldn't be convicted on the murder. He has served his time, and he is out free on...
That's stunning.
For free, just walking around the community
I wouldn't even expect that in a blue state, much less a red state like Kentucky.
Well, they did see the problem with it, and the father of this guy's name is Dean Tipton. He worked with Kentucky's legislature to pass Logan's Law.
How did excuse me, maybe you're about to answer this. How did this guy get out? How did this guy get out of prison in 10 years? Stabbing a 6-year-old to death in his bed and a burglary in their home.
The law stipulated that if you are found not guilty because of insanity, that you're not guilty. So that was off the table. And the charges of guilty but mentally ill on assault charges carried a 10-year sentence. He served the 10 years. And he's out.
Those seem contradicting, though. Like, either you're insane for all of it, or you're...
He was insane for all of it, and he was charged.
I don't care if you're insane or not.
I agree with you on that.
I don't care. I don't care. Yeah, who isn't insane that does something like that?
That's right.
Huh?
Yeah.
You take the life of a 6-year-old boy who's sleeping in his bed at home by stabbing him to death, and you're in jail for 6 years, only prison or whatever it is, because you said I was crazy while I did this? In Kentucky, even.
Mm-hmm. I have not been able to get this story out of my head since I read it, just because of where in the justice system did the state of Kentucky go wrong that that's even an option.
I'll tell you where, because this is a layman, hadn't explored this, but I'll tell you probably where they go wrong, is letting people off on a lesser sentence because they claim they're insane.
Yep.
I don't care whether you're insane or not. You commit a crime, you're going to pay the penalty. Yeah. The insanity plea is abused.
Absolutely. And it shouldn't even be a thing. It shouldn't be a thing any more than a hate crime.
No.
A crime's a crime.
That's right. Well, if you're that insane, then why weren't you locked up?
And stay locked up.
Yeah. Stay locked up. Anyway.
So they did. The father did work with the
father of the young boy who was killed, who himself was stabbed.
Logan's dad, his name is Dean. He worked with the Kentucky legislature, and they did pass what is now known as Logan's Law. Logan's Law, they have...
You mean in the state of Kentucky?
In the state of Kentucky. Now has Logan's Law, and it changes the insanity defense. It repeals Kentucky's traditional not guilty by reason of insanity, and instead defendants with severe mental illness now may be found guilty but mentally ill. And the charges of those are tougher. So the violent offenders, you can still be served, you could still be charged with a life sentence, and you will still...
Did you say L-I-G-H-T or L-I-F-E?
L-I-F-E. A life sentence, you have to serve at least 30 years of that before becoming eligible for parole.
One thing I didn't understand when reading this story is why he got 0 years for murdering the 6-year-old and why he got 10 years for stabbing the adults?
Because when you're found not guilty by reason of insanity, you're not guilty.
Do you see my question?
Yeah, yeah.
Why was he not guilty for insanity?
It's an aberration of justice, to say the least.
It's not that he did stab him, and he was.
What about
in
the
parlance?
adult?
He's guilty of stabbing. We say he's guilty, but legally, he is found not guilty.
Well, why? Okay, let me try to say this again. So what I'm hearing is that if he had not have stabbed the adults, he would have got out on nothing. He wouldn't have even gone to jail.
He got it right as soon as yes.
Wait, do you see what I'm?
Wait a minute.
He's right. He's reading it right, but I don't understand it. Could I read it?
Wait a minute. That can't be right.
No. The story.
I think
he might have had to go to a hospital, but
I think his sentence was reduced because he claimed he was insane. Not his sentence. Not that he got off the hook completely for killing the 6-year-old. I think that's the case. But anyway, where can people? Can we put this story up on our Facebook page so people can read it for themselves? This was where did we?
It's a Fox News story.
It's a Fox News story. So we'll put it up on our Today's Issues Facebook page, and people can click on it. It'll make you angry, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But it's unbelievable how this kind of thing happens a lot in blue states.
It does, and that's why I support the castle doctrine.
Yeah.
If you walk in someone else, if you break in, or if you find yourself in another person's house that you're not invited to, and a shot's fired, that's how this goes. Because it would have been nice for this guy the guy that stabbed the 6-year-old, it'd been nice for him to have been shot by the dad in the house. That's the best ending of this story. But unfortunately, now he's walking free after serving 10 years.
All right, next story.
All right. So I want to talk about, we're finding a John Solomon, the great independent reporter, is reporting about a new probe that the FBI opened up. I'm going to read this, John Solomon's the line of his story. It says, the FBI opened a criminal probe specifically targeting Donald Trump in May of 2017, alleging that the newly elected president may have been acting as a Russian asset when he fired then-Director James Comey, even though the Bureau knew overwhelming evidence showed at the time that there was no collusion with the Kremlin. So this is the Russian collusion hoax. And one of the things that they did was they tried to pin the firing of James Comey on Donald Trump and saying that he fired him because he was a Russian asset. Now, they named this, they named the investigation Operation Oxford Comma. I can tell you what an Oxford comma is, but it's a grammar thing, and it was something that James Comey used. He was in love with the Oxford comma. You could look it up. So, but here's what they did. Because they wanted to make sure that you couldn't investigate this via a FOIA search, they misspelled Oxford and comma. They misspelled it, so it was Operation Oxford, O-X-F-E-R-D, comma, C and the number 0, MMA.
Sounds intentional.
Oh, it's very intentional. They wanted to, so that if it was ever found out, now you couldn't do a FOIA, Freedom of Information Act request on Operation Oxford comma. It would come back, oh, nothing there. No, there's no such thing. So, but because Donald Trump won the election, he is now opening up all of the books, and we're finding all of the the weaponization of the FBI and the government under Joe Biden.
Comey is now he's the president of the TDS club.
I think he would very rightfully be. Yes.
He's graduated, been promoted.
Well, he was vice president, but I think their last convention he was voted president of the Trump Derangement Syndrome club. Yeah. So, wish him well.
Yeah.
Next story.
All right. We talked about yesterday how on Tuesday, Abdul El-Sayed won the Democrat nomination for governor of Michigan.
No, Senate.
I'm sorry, the Senate seat of Michigan. I totally am.
Yeah.
So he is now the Democrats. He will be on the ballot for the Democrat Party for the Senate seat in Michigan. He will be facing Mike Rogers, who is a congressman, or was he senator?
Congress.
He was a congressman from Michigan, but now he is running for governor. Senate. My God.
There is a far lefty running for governor in Wisconsin that we covered
That's
yesterday.
probably what I'm.
Right, that's a woman.
That's Hong. Yes, right.
Anyway,
who's of Korean descent, not even close to what Steve's talking about.
But we played both their clips yesterday.
Let's listen. I know this is live radio. Steve, we're going to give you a second chance,
All
my
right.
friend. You start over with that story.
Abdul El-Sayed on Tuesday night won his primary to represent Democrats on the November ballot for Michigan's Senate seat, which is open. He will be running against Mike Rogers, a former congressman, who is also running for the Senate seat. He will be the Republican candidate. In his victory speech on Tuesday night, Abdul El-Sayed challenged Mike Rogers to 5 debates. He says there's enough crimes in Mike Rogers' past. This is what El-Sayed says, that they can't uncover them in one, so they want 5. And one of the things that he wants to talk about is Mike Rogers' vacation home in Florida. You know, these Democrat socialists, they can't stand rich people. If you have a vacation home in Florida, you must be rich. So he's going to try to pin the rich guy on Mike Rogers. Well, they did a little bit of investigating. What did they find, Fred?
They found that El-Sayed has some private homes of his own, except they're in the Middle East. I think he has one in Dubai, and he has apparently, according to the story, a few others.
Oh, this is rich. So you telling me this Abdul, what's the fellow's name?
Abdul El-Sayed.
Did he personally go after Mike Rogers on having a second home in Florida?
Yes.
That's a story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He, not his campaign manager.
No.
This is so. Oh, and it turns out that if I were Mike Rogers, I'd come back. Yeah, I have a second home in America.
Yeah, that's right.
Where's your second home, Abdul? Well, I have a second, third, fourth home over in the Middle East somewhere.
I think because of Abdul El-Sayed's background, the researchers in the Republican Party, they have been very busy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to find out a whole lot more. In fact, Fox yesterday afternoon had another story.
Yeah.
Wait, before you do that.
Sure.
By the way, when did it become a bad thing to have a second home? Does that make you a bad person? I don't have a second home, but I'm saying if Mike Rogers has created enough success and wealth in his life over his decades of work, and he wants to buy a second home in Florida, why is that a sin? Well, it is a sin on the part of the left because they hate people who are.
Here's the other thing I would do if I was Mike Rogers.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing I would do. I'm going to get a list of all the Democrats that have a second home in Arizona, Florida.
Right.
Yeah. All those people. Who
are they bad people too?
Are they bad people?
Yeah.
Should they be thrown out of
Second
Congress?
homes in red states, by the way.
Yeah. But the second story that Fox came up with yesterday is where El-Sayed has been getting some of his money. Well, apparently some of his donors are also connected to CARE, the Council of American Islamic Relations. And according to Fox, some of them have connections to the Muslim Brotherhood, according to Fox.
Yeah.
So I think over the next couple of months, you are going to see a bunch of stories about El-Sayed's connections to various groups.
And we will be covering them right here.
Yes.
So what Fox found was that individuals affiliated with CARE, employees, board members, and former leaders, contributed to El-Sayed's campaign. According to Fox News Digital, they donated more than $115,000. These are 41 official individuals with current or former CARE affiliations.
Yes.
So these are, CARE, again, is an unindicted co-conspirator. I don't know if you call them that, but they are have been linked with the Muslim Brotherhood, a terror organization, and they're funding El Sayed's campaign.
Helping to fund.
Helping to fund.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Next story.
All right. So some Gen Zers. What are you? You're not Gen Z. What are you?
Honestly, I don't know.
You don't know what you are?
Idea.
Yeah. Well, okay. Gen Z. I think. Do you know what it is, Brent? Brent, do you know what it is, Fred?
Gen Z. A little younger than the.
Is it between a millennial and a boomer?
Gen Z were born between 97 and 2012.
Oh, no.
They would be between 14 and 29 years old. So these are young adults.
Right behind you, Wesley.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anyway, some of them are not happy with the addiction they have to their smartphones. So there is a trend among some of them to swap out their smartphones for what they're calling dumb phones or flip phones that don't have internet access or cameras.
I thought about that myself. I'll be honest with you.
I thought about it myself too. That's the one my kid's gonna get.
Yeah, I know. I've thought of it, Fred.
Well, I'm trying to picture this. I've heard this story. So it's kind of like a baby in a pacifier. There's really not any milk connected to it, but it's a pretenzy phone. So
well, it's and of course this isn't a massive movement, okay?
No,
among this age group, it's a story that's saying that
some of them
are saying that they want to get away from
technology.
So much technology.
But you're carrying a plastic device in your hand.
Well, I don't know. I think it's basically going back to the flip phone days.
For emergencies.
Okay.
For like a phone that you use for text and calling, and that's it.
Just don't get the one with the game Snake on there. Because
all
all you're doing is defeating the whole purpose.
What happened there?
The original.
Do you have experience in it?
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay.
The original phone, the Nokia phone, that had about 3 games on there, and the 3 games on there.
Is this popular with parents for their young person?
So this is my generation's first phone.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
My generation's first phone before the iPhone existed.
Okay, and you're in your mid-30s. Go ahead.
Mid-30s. It's the phone that if they were going back to the phones before smartphones.
Yeah.
So we go back without internet, dumb phones. They had 3 games on there. One of the 3 games was Snake.
Okay.
And that Snake game was as addicting as Candy Crush. Okay.
Okay.
So
yeah, I see people playing the Candy Crush.
So if you're gonna
during our show.
So if you're going to go backwards on a dumb phone, you got to go all dumb
because you defeat the purpose.
That's right. That was supposed to be a joke, but you didn't know what Snake went. So
I've heard of Snake, but Candy Crush I'm definitely familiar with. So Fred, you're not going to go this. You're going to stick with your
absolutely.
smartphone.
Absolutely.
I do like the weather.
Yeah, the weather apps, and I like staying in touch.
And the news.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
I have, on a serious note, I've talked about this on Dr. Nurse Mom's program with Jessica Beck. You do need to set some parameters of your own individually. I go home, and from 5 to 6, well, I don't get home right at 5. It varies. But for the first hour when I get home, may not seem like a lot, but I put my phone up.
Yeah.
For the first hour.
You can communicate with your kids and your wife.
You don't even have the temptation of...
That's right. I go in my room, put it in the drawer for at least an hour.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Steve, go ahead.
I just want to preview some of the breaking news on our favorite factual website, Babylon Bee. They are reporting, and this is the Department of War, due to a depleted missile supply. Operation Epic Fury has been downgraded. It is now Operation Aggressive Fury. And the WNBA, one of their coaches held a press conference and was asked, and they were stumped because they're not sure what the W stands for.
Let's go. A fist bump. Fist bump on live radio right there for Steve. Well played.
Yeah.
All right then.
Truth for Youth.
Yes, Truth for Youth.
Truth for Youth. Call in at 1-800-733-4737 to help us get as many young adults or teenagers the Bible.
So. Right. All right. What's the website for that? People want to read about it.
It's tfy.org. tfy.org, which stands for Truth for Youth.
My thanks to Wesley, Fred, Steve, Chris, Brent, Cole Green, who does our video. Yes, we video this show. and Cole is responsible for that on YouTube, Facebook, and other places. We even do it on X as well, and our own.
Stream.afa.net.
Stream.afa.net. We have a live video stream. We'll see you tomorrow. Trivia Friday tomorrow. Hello, Tim Wildmon here, President of American Family Association.